So I really just want to discuss one thing today, Nuggets related, and then I actually have to go.
All
But
good.
so I'm sure you probably didn't have enough time yet to like look at any tape of the guys that they signed on like two ways. But one piece of news we know for sure is that Trey Alexander's not going to be back. I guess they decided they wanted the new guys instead. Little bigger. I mean, Trey's basically a point guard, so I guess they decided like he's for sure behind Jalen Pickett. Not going to be back. He had a really good season in the G League, so I was just curious about like how you felt about that. Like, won't miss him. Disappointed. Any thoughts about Trey Alexander's Nuggets tenure being over?
For me, it's just I there was no path for him.
Yeah.
It's just how it felt. And so I can't really be upset with him not being back when that's the case
Hmm.
because as much promise as he may have shown, where is he going to go? What's going to happen with Trey Alexander if he does stay? I can't imagine anything more than another season of him in the G League, maybe putting up good numbers,
Right.
but not having much of a role in Denver when you have Pickett and Jamal, and they want to bring in another point guard probably
Yeah.
in Russ or Bruce Brown or somebody like that. So
Not much upward trajectory.
yeah, and that's the thing is like if you want the buy-in of, I think this is something that Denver. What I really like to see from the Nuggets going forward is like a rethinking of not just like how they bring guys along. Like and that involves, I think that some of that's coaching. I also think some of that is managing the team in a way that leaves a little bit of room for guys to advance in their careers to a degree. It's like not you're not looking for like the next. You're not replacing Jokic or something, but um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Along with stuff.
I think if you look at the guys that they did pick up for
Hmm.
summer league, they took guys that are good shooters. And Trey was a good shooter in college. He kind of struggled last year when he did get called up at the Nuggets. I think their thinking is these are some guys that might hit if we develop, but worst case scenario, if we have injuries, if these guys were to get called up, they can at least kind of play that spot up role and not be like absolutely killed on defense because they're a little bigger than Trey. Like Trey was like 6'1", 6'2", like point guard size and skinny. And so now I think their thinking is more like, well, if we have Jokic, he's pretty much like the de facto point guard a lot of the time. They don't really need like an elite ball handler. Like I think we agree that the team needs to add playmaking, but that was always going to be like from the mid level or the minimum roster spots, not from like a develop a two-way guy,
Or even
right?
other starters.
Yeah,
Like they'll put CB at point before they bring a fourth point guard in from the G
right,
League to be like, okay, run the show. Like it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be Aaron Gordon before that. It's going to be
right. And
multiple guys.
it's not like these guys can't dribble. Like I think they were talking about on DNV on Fridays. Like you just need to be able to bring the ball up, and then somebody else can start the offense. Especially when Jokic and Gordon are on the floor. But they want those guys. At least they went after guys that are kind of used to playing without the ball, which I think is smart because when you're on the Nuggets, you want to have guys that are comfortable without the ball because
Mhm.
Jokic is going to have the ball, but when Jokic doesn't have it, Murray's going to have the ball, and they're going to try to get it popping and get it moving. They don't really want those role guys to have the ball forever.
Yeah, don't be sticky.
Yeah,
Um, I just hope they just got to get more out of some of the of depth they have.
yeah.
It can't be that like every person you've always brought in over the last, however many years is just like none of them were good. I don't know.
I
It's-
mean, I thought Pickett gave good minutes towards the end of the regular season. Struggled a bit in the playoffs, but I'm not out on him. I still think he could be valuable in spot minutes.
And I think the expectation, I think, should be closer to, can he give you good minutes in the regular season? Like I think there's been such an emphasis on the playoffs, and I understand that the playoffs are important. But for those guys, like two-way players, your 13th guy off the bench, your guys on the
Yeah,
end of your roster, I kind of think just the act of contributing good minutes in the regular season is obviously, even if they don't play in the playoffs, I think that's still worth investing in, because
yeah,
it's the kind of thing that means Jamal can play 30 minutes a night instead of 37.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's more important that they add shooting and defense versus somebody who's like an elite ball handler. If you look at the NBA, I kind of feel like the pure backup point guard is kind of like being phased out, right? I mean, Monte didn't really get minutes in Phoenix this year,
It's
partly because
just
they also got Tyus Jones, who's like a good backup point guard, but he still is also an extremely flawed player, right? Like he's a twig and he can't guard anybody. So I don't know if I'd be psyched if the Nuggets went and got somebody like Tyus Jones. I think most fans would be like happy, like, oh, he's a good competent point guard. It's like that's great. But we kind of need defense and shooting more than we need like a solid backup dribbler, in my opinion. Because,
it,
like I said, you can manufacture offense through other ways. We need that. I feel like we need to sign a guy, a guard who's like able to play off ball and like can play the two or maybe even the three, right? So if you're able to bring back Bruce, he's a guy that has run point for us, right? He can do it. He's not elite at it, but he can do it. But you're also comfortable with him at the two, and he can even guard like threes and sometimes fours.
it feels like there's a real lack of athleticism. When I think about the roster, I don't want to say Aaron Gordon's not athletic, but I wouldn't say he's at a stage in his career where he is among the elite in the league anymore. And maybe you have, like, I think there's Peyton is probably the closest guy you have to that. And outside of that, I mean, Christian's pretty athletic. I do feel like he's getting 110% out of his body, which is great. But a lot of, I don't think they're scary, and I think that's kind of one of the things that, like, that the athleticism, the physical tools, the physicality, that kind of does to other teams, is that, like, it makes it a little bit more intimidating, and the Nuggets don't feel intimidating right now.
Yeah. True. Well, it'll be fun in a few days to see what happens. So I look forward to reacting to the news one way or another.
Yeah, I'm not too stressed about it. I feel like it could be worse. I think they
So,
could be in a much worse position than they are. I
of course.
feel like we might, be a month, 2 months, 3 months into the season and feel refreshed. I mean, the likelihood that it's going to be exactly the same as it always has been the last 6, 7, 8 years, I think it's very low.
Yeah.
If you have a new coach, you have a new organization. Maybe Jamal does come in to camp and
I'm calling it. Jamal Murray career.
I can't. No, I mean, maybe. I can't.
It's time.
So when I say I'm not going to stress about it too much, part of that is I'm not going to, like, emotionally invest in Jamal coming into camp in shape. But if it happens, that's great. I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, anyway, good talking to you. And I will try to. I'm gonna try to clip out of us with what this has been of us actually talking about the Nuggets, and maybe
Yeah, just
bits of other things.
the Trey Alexander portion is fine, really. I mean, that's all we really discussed that people will care about.
New GM. That is a recent thing. Any thoughts about
Yeah.
that before we go?
I mean, I
Even if
like
it's
Tom
short.
Wallace. He's kind of gotten a little bit of experience outside the organization, even though it was with Tim Connolly. I mean, it sounds like he's well respected around the league, well connected. You know, that's what you need. So time will tell. I mean, I'm optimistic. To me, he's just in the category of like he's 0 for 0 right now, right? We don't know. We don't know if he's a shooter or if he's a bricklayer. Like we don't know yet, but I'm optimistic.
I think he deserves the opportunity to be good.
I will say that I am happy that Adelman and Wallace mentioned what they want to address, which is shooting. I really do think like while the roster does need more two-way players, if you grab a shooter like, for example, Luke Kennard, at the very least, like having spacing around Jokic really does open up the whole floor a lot, right? It's like when you have Peyton Watson out there and they just don't pay attention at all, it just mucks everything up so bad. And it's like my problem with Peyton is like if you're going to be a bad shooter, at least make up for it by being a high IQ player, and he just doesn't.
He did
So
shoot a good percentage in the playoffs.
Ray, he was the worst player in the playoffs, like by the metrics.
I'm just saying he did. Christian shot like 30%. Like
He's not good either.
Yeah, I'm just
Christian,
saying Peyton
that's
shot
topic
like
for another
30.
day. So.
He shot 37%. I understand and a lot of that is reputation. Like you have to do it for a while before people are like going to respect it and actually come out on you.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think I just from saying he deserves a little bit of credit for shooting 37% in the playoffs. Like
I suppose. But yeah, we'll see what we get. I'm hopeful that they'll get at least a couple guys that they're targeting, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, cool. I will see you then.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Thanks.